the biggest, fastest, and baddest track in North America. It is Talladega Super Speedway. And today it will play host to the 23rd round of the Adrenaline iRacing League and round number 3 in the chase. Hello everyone and welcome to LSR TV. I'm Nola Rempel, and beside me bringing you guys coverage for tonight's race is Mr. Greg Rentz with Charles Booten behind the cameras. Ryan Hartz is currently continuing to pull away with the lead of the title after the 200 lapper at the Milwaukee Mile, where he came away with the victory, 94 points, currently separating him and Shane Therian in second place. So Greg, Ryan is certainly going to be hoping for another win here tonight, so we continue to pull away with the title fight. But as we discussed prior to this broadcast, Talladega really is a track of lady luck.
This is what you call the ultimate wild card. It can make or break your entire season in one race at this very fast 2.66 mile super speedway. And someone who has had a great season all season long, it can all go out the window in one failed swoop here at Talladega. So everyone's going to be hoping and praying that it's not their turn to have bad luck strike them here at Miss Lady Luck Talladega Super Speedway.
Hartz currently is a 7-time winner for the season, looking to make that 8 tonight. Shane Therian, who is on the track, is, well, he's got 4 wins. He's looking to make a 5-time winner. Of course, Therian in the 38, 94 points down. And, well, the third place driver is Trenton Jump, but Jump has got to worry more about Dylan Browning, who is only 2 points down from him. Both drivers 132 and 134 points behind, respectively. Of course, the top 10 in the playoffs from the leader down to Matt Dyer, the last place runner in the chase. A total of 191 points, so it's a pretty big margin, and right now it's almost half of those points between just first and second place. So even if the race doesn't go Hartz's way, I think he's in a pretty comfortable position where he could probably afford to lose a couple spots here in this one.
And that's got to make him feel good. That's a track such as Talladega where anything can and will happen. To have that much of a cushion in your points battle here in the early stages of the playoffs, like you mentioned, to be able to have enough of a cushion that you can afford to really be comfortable at a track like Talladega and not have to worry about, oh God, if something happens here in the race here today, 94 laps of distance. If these 94 laps don't go my way, it could be the end of my season. It's got to be comfortable for him to be able to have that in the back of his mind and say, hey, if something doesn't go my way, I can recover next week.
78 degrees is the temperature in the air here in the state of Alabama. The in-sim date, May 15th, currently approaching 3:30 p.m. Well, like you said, 94 laps around this track. It's a bit of a hotter track, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. 94 laps, of course, like we were just talking about, with a halfway stage at lap number 47, which does give out bonus points as well. So it's not all going to be in the final one, in the final stage tonight, because you got to set yourself up to get that stage win as well if you want to come around and get some points. The last race these guys in their Talladega was actually phenomenally well. They only had about 15 entrants. However, they actually managed to run good without more than 1 or 2 crashes, I think, until the last lap, when of course the inevitable big one took place. But hey, I mean, we were kind of expecting that on the last lap at Talladega in a full field of trucks. You see they're currently on track right now for this final minute of practice prior to qualifying. And, well, they definitely have more entrants here than they did the last time. I was looking through about 22, 24 drivers that are going to be looking to take to the grid today, so it is going to be bigger than the last one. You got to wonder, though, since we're in the chase now, is it going to be as clean as that last Talladega race?
You would hope that it is, but I'm not so sure it will be, because this is the playoffs. You're trying to get yourself in a position to contend for the championship and try to reel in Ryan Hartz in the number 3 truck. Currently second on the charts, by the way, is that number 3 truck. So you know drivers are going to be taking more risks here in this one as opposed to the race earlier in the year, because of the fact that it has much bigger points implications than the earlier race. But you have to be calculated here with the risks that you take at this track, because the slightest miscalculation can be so costly at a track like this. You got 94 laps, it's a long race. You have to be able to keep it clean and be smart through the early stages and hope to be there at the end of the race.
Checkered flag is out now on practice, and we are getting set to go for qualifying. Don't expect the first laps or the first times on the board until about the halfway point at the least in qualifying. Of course, it takes about 55 seconds to get around here solo without the draft, and it takes even longer to we'll get around on the outlap, of course. So a few drivers are going to be looking to maybe capitalizing here early on this one. Qualifying can be a fickle thing at a track like this. You need to make sure that you really nail every single section of this track, because if you're even an inch out of line in the corners, it can just mess you up so badly. Christian Gomez in the number 48. The first truck out, who will be setting the time, going right to the wall. And this is a common strategy here, Greg, that we see at super speedway racing. Oftentimes, drivers will elect to run the top line, actually, right by the wall for the first lap, because they can get some extra momentum around the outside, build up speed, and then we'll see the time starting to come down at the tail end of the second one. Still a few drivers that are sitting in the lane. One driver that actually might not have long, though, is Calvin Gretorix, who actually might have to, well, make what he's got for now, because unfortunately for Gretorix in the 98 truck, he actually had some problems getting out of the pit. So this first lap that he's coming on here, it might already count as his first time lap.
That would be a dagger for Gretorix if that is indeed the case. And like you mentioned, we're seeing right now Christian Gomez is running the high line. You're trying to build up as much momentum as you can, so you want to have as much racetrack to work with as you can. That's why you want to run up at the higher line. It's just that much longer around the track. You have that much more time to build up speed and try to get a good run on the second lap, where I'm expecting to see these drivers hug the yellow line as close as they can, because you want the longest route possible on the first lap, shortest route on the second lap, to try to shave as much time off as you physically can. So we're seeing right here Gomez coming to complete his first lap, and I'm expecting to see him dive down to the double yellow as soon as he crosses the strike, maybe even before. And here we see it now, coming into the tri-oval, diving down right onto the double yellow, and I expect to see him try to hold the bottom as tight as he physically can here on the second lap.
A 56.401 for Christian Gomez across the line. Stephen Hamill with a 101.9, so something might have gone wrong for him. Right now, even on these warm-up laps, Gomez is still the fastest, so Gomez, he's looking to be able to get a really good run. Now it's going to be definitely much faster, though, at least in the 55s, as, well, Justin Teal going to go to the top now with a 55.876. So, again, though, this is at the end of the first lap, and one thing to note, Justin Teal ran the bottom for the entirety of his first qualifying lap, so he did not elect to take it to the high side like Gomez did. The truck's topping out at about 170 to 173 miles an hour when they're on their solo runs. Gomez now through the trial. We're going to see if he can put himself onto provisional pole for now. Across the line, it's going to be a 55.876, tying with Justin Teal for pole position.
And Justin Teal did the 55.876 on his first lap. Gomez did it on his second lap. They both just got knocked off by Eric Stamp. Justin Teal coming through the tri-oval now for the second lap. That's very impressive that Teal was able to match what Gomez did on lap 2 on lap 1 as he crosses the strike now. And looks like his lap is actually slower the second time around. So the 8.76 will count. It's a tie right now between Teal and Gomez. That's for the 4th position on the tower, as fast time is currently Justin Dietrich, a 55.837 quick time right now.
Fastest by only 1/100 of a second. It was an 8:37 for Dietrich and an 8:47 for Tommy Gossett. The times are still coming on down. Steve Durham crosses the line in a 56.411. He just crossed over onto his second flying lap. Some drivers still waiting in the pit lane as well. Here comes Calvin Gretorix around for his final qualifying lap. He was a 56.410 last time. A 55.888 to put him up at 8th place. Bronson Stafford just setting up on his first qualifying lap as well. Austin Gretorix just came through. He's only good enough for 13th with a 55.987.
And only 5 minutes to qualify. These drivers don't have a lot of time to hang around and wait, as Logan Brecky jumps up to 4th at a 55.871. Good lap for Brecky. So as we continue to go, we're watching the number 61, the GoPro entry on track right now. Bronson Stafford trying to get up there and get his first lap in the books. And Nolan, 5-minute qualifying session, not a lot of time to work with as we are already almost through that. And qualifying is actually going to elapse now, so several drivers not getting time. They've waited just a little bit too long, and they're going to have to start at the tail end of the field.
One of those drivers is actually Shane Therian in the 38 truck, who, well, he was so close. He was probably only 100 feet away from the checkered flag of qualifying on his second lap before he would have been able to get his way through. So unfortunately for him, but now, well, may as well go on down through our starting grid. So it is Justin Dietrich to start things off on pole position with Tommy Gossett down there in second to round out the first row. Row number 2 holding Eric Stamp and Logan Brakey. Row 3 holds Christian Gomez and Justin Teal tying out to lock out row number 3. Row 4 with Tyler Tomasi and Tanner Johnson. Calvin Gretorix and Matt Dyer round out the top 10. Greg?
Steve Durham going to roll off in row number 6 in the 11th spot. To his outside, we will find Dylan Browning in the number 12, starting in P12. Stephen Hamal in 13th. To his outside, Trenton Jump in the 46. Austin Rhetoric rolls off 15th in number 15, so a couple of drivers matching their car number to their starting position. Shane Therian rolls off in the 16th spot. The final driver to get a qualifying time was 17th, Robert Kenny, and his time was a 3-minute 38-second lap, so not quite getting up to speed that he wanted. He rolls off in the 17th position, the final driver to get a time registered. Points leader Ryan Hartz will roll off 18th with Cody Schlotteker, Jared Matho, and Bronson Stafford rounding out the top 20.
You know, there was an old road course, believe it or not, here at Talladega, an infield road course that was linked up from just past the start-finish line up to the turn 2 backstretch. I have a feeling that Robert Kenny, with that 3-minute 38 time, might have found the remains of said road course and decided to take a lap around there instead. Clearly, fans seem to try some road course racing more than the oval racing. He pulled this kind of a strategy, I think, last week at Milwaukee, though, as well. Of course, Robert Kenny, one of the race admins, so it looks like he was not electing to take one of these really long times, and it looks like he's almost going for the choke times. He is on the grid, starting 17th place. It's an interesting qualifying strategy, though. It looked like maybe he just wanted to be ahead of all the drivers that didn't want to set times.
It could be, and you got that many drivers that didn't take time. You get yourself a little bit of a better starting spot. He'll start 17th alongside the points leader as we are rolling, and the field will be in the hands of Justin Dietrich in the number 21 as soon as he gets rolling, with Tommy Gossett Jr. to his outside. And Nolan, 94 laps around this track. It can take a while, but it can also go bad in the blink of an eye. So this is going to be 94 laps of white knuckle racing coming up.
As somebody that has raced for 500-mile races on super speedways like this, let me tell you what, they make it look so easy. You think you just got to keep your foot to the floor and keep pushing the truck ahead of you. It looks a lot tighter down there than it is on the cameras. These TV angles don't do it justice. Even our in-car cameras don't do it justice. You only really feel it, how tight it can really get when you're down there and actually racing alongside other drivers. So, well, half a lap to go before grade. A very long pacing lap here. 25 drivers taking to the grid, and all 25, unlike at Milwaukee, will be starting the race for today. Half a lap before we go green flag racing.
Into turn 3 for the final time before we go green. And Nolan, final prediction is before we go 94 laps here at Dega.
If we don't have the big one within the first 10 laps, it'll likely come in the last 10.
So we'll see how it goes, and we know how the second half of Talladega races always tend to be the wilder half of the race. Once things get settled down after the first few laps, it will be interesting to see how these drivers adjust to the early stages and see if they go with the settle down method early or if they just go all out early. But Nolan, the pace car, or the pace truck I should say, is pulling off. That puts the field in the hands of the 21.
Still a very, very long way through the tri-oval after that pace truck pulls up. The 21 truck, Justin Dietrich, blitzed the field in qualifying by, well, a meager 100th of a second. He's going to lead them now through the tri-oval. Tighten the buckles, hold on to your hats. It is showtime. We're racing at Talladega.
It takes about an entire lap to get these trucks up to full speed at this very long 2.66 mile oval, one of 2 tracks they run restrictor plates on, and that is why it's taking them time to get up to speed. Very settled down here through turns 1 and 2. Dietrich pokes about a car length ahead of Tommy Gossett. One truck all the way down in the infield and below the apron as he's going to settle it down. Didn't catch a number on who that was. The field goes off into turn 3.
It was Tanner Johnson that decided to go to the apron on the back straightaway, evidently not wanting to take any risks early on, wanted to just keep things settling. You got to get that power down there. He's going to lose the drive here in a hurry, and that could be devastating to his race. He could find himself going the lap down real quickly. Still double file. Nobody electing to push it 3 wide just yet, which is, of course, you know, it's something you do want to see. As I say that, in the back, Dylan Browning trying the tie side, and well, 3 wide now with Stephen Hamill, with Trenton Jump trying to throw it up the middle. You saw Justin Teal jump to the low side trying to get some help down on the bottom. Didn't get maybe quite as much help as he needs. Well, Tommy Gossett slot himself into the middle as well, and that's going to ditch Matt Dyer on the outside. One more driver that's going to poke out and fade to the back is Logan Breakey.
And another one pulling out earlier up there in front of Brecky as we got problems in the back of the field. Believe it was Dylan Browning going around, yes, the number 12 Pepsi Chevy Silverado around on the backstretch. We stay green for the time being, but definitely not the start Dylan Browning wanted after getting shuffled to the back on the high side. Now he's got to work his way back up there.
Got turned actually by Stafford in the middle of that, so no damage on number 12, but we were talking about this before. Stafford is a driver that doesn't want to lift. He certainly didn't lift. Left rear hooked Brown to the inside, and well, good job on that number 12 truck to avoid getting into the wall, so that could have been a lot worse. It could have been our first caution of the day, but well, already one truck is spun down by a very aggressive driver. We saw Stafford was actually a driver that was making these aggressive moves over in the last time we raced here at Talladega. If we could take a look at a replay of that one, because well, I'm pretty sure that there's one driver here that is not going to be terribly happy that this is what happened to the number 12. There you have it, pitched way to the inside, and whoever that was on the inside of Stafford did a fantastic job. That could not get cut off with that one either. Justin Teal fades to the back of the field.
Yeah, Stafford, we noted it in practice that he was the one making the moves in practice, so not surprised to see him being the one taking the risks early on in this one. Justin Teal did a great job to settle back in to position after he got shuffled to the back, but unfortunately when he shuffled up he wasn't up to enough speed, and he did wind up losing the draft anyway. So tough break for Justin Teal as he tried to settle in the back and just wasn't able to grab onto the draft, and it cost him as we have Tommy Gossett leading the charge up the middle in the number 80, possibly going 3 wide for the lead as another truck is up there, the 84 Matt Dyer. Gossett pokes the nose in front. We could be 3 wide for the lead when we come off turn 4. We will be now.
3 wide, 2 rows deep. This is where it starts to get antsy now. Dietrich on the bottom. Gossett running that middle line. Matt Dyer getting some help from Baronza Stafford on the top side. So 3 different rows of trucks locking it down. It's going to take one misstep before all heck will break loose. Calamity is definitely not uncommon this sort of thing happens, but they are going to survive this one, it looks like. Stephen Hamill not quite able to get clear, and Tommy Gossett going to stick with that middle groove actually, and to kind of give Hamill a bit more of a hand here. Just to kind of note how far back some of the trucks that lost the draft. Brownie's last time was a 56.3, a 51.9 for these trucks up front, so they're running significant, they're running about 5 seconds lap faster, which helps because they're running 15 miles an hour faster than him at all times too. 3 wide, 2 rows deep again.
That's the product of the draft. Look at that outside lane working right now. You've got Matt Dyer leading the way, Bronson Stafford behind him, and 2 trucks there bringing up the rear of that draft, the 38 and the 34. Robert Kenny in the 38 and Shane Therian in the 34. They lose touch now with Stafford, and that allows Tommy Gossett to get up there just as Dyer crossed the line ahead. Gossett was able to poke the nose back ahead, and it looks like the 3 wide has settled down now 2 wide here, inside lane of 5, top lane of 4.
Bronson Stafford tried to look 4 wide for the lead, but luckily decided it was a better idea to just back out of this one, not wanting to take the unnecessary risk just yet. Dyer getting shoved around the outside, though, by the 61 machine, going to jump down to cover against Tommy Gossett in the middle of the corner. So now it's going to be Bronson Stafford who lead the outside line, and this is where we can start to bring in the shuffle as well. The outside line can usually get a much better run off the corners. Big wobble there for that outside line as one truck getting a little bit unsettled in the middle of things here, but you know, when the outside can usually get such a much better run off the corners because you're carrying.
Settling it down after the back of the truck came unsettled after some contact with the 38 of Shane Therian, who is bringing him up there. And you see Therian right there, he's kind of bobbling. He's trying to settle the truck down and get a run with Stafford at Dyer and Gossett, who are leading the way right now. And Bronson Stafford will get that run on the high side. He will pull nose to nose with Matt Dyer through 3 and 4 here, but Dyer able to make the inside lane work as one truck shoots up from the inside to the outside. Back there, he's going to settle down. It's the pole sitter, the 21 of Justin Dietrich, who got shuffled out from the inside lane, had to settle down in the outside lane, where he picks up Rhetoric now in the 15. Dyer able to get back ahead, a car length ahead of Stafford with Tommy Gossett right on his back bumper. The 07 of Hamill back there in the third line on the inside, trying to catch up to the back bumper of Gossett. And while he's doing that, this is allowing Stafford to get another run on the outside to lead the outside lane down the backstretch.
2 by 2 by 2 by 2. It is definitely a hornet's nest up there at the top of the field right now. Bronson Stafford trying the outside, is going to get the nose ahead of Dyer as they enter turn number 3, but not going to be nearly enough to. Might be able to make something through the tribal if he can get that momentum off the corner. He's going to get ahead here by the end of the tribal. Will he jump down to clear around Matt Dyer, or is he going to stick up top of 38? No, he is going to jump to the inside line, so that's going to leave Shane Therian on the top side. Remember, Shane Therian is looking for a really good race today. He wants to close in the gap right now to your points leader, Ryan Hartz, who is running all the way back in 13th right now. So this is where Therian wants to be. He wants to be running up in the top 10 right now, and he wants to hope that Hartz is going to be stuck down low and outside of the points when they get to the stage, because only the top 10 receive points for the stage.
No, let's see what he does here. Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to do exactly that. I noticed when Bronson Stafford got to the lead, he jumped down immediately to the inside. Therian just went and did the same. It almost looks like the outside lane is the preferred lane when you're trying to make a pass, but once you complete the pass, you want to get down on the inside where the clean air is. So looks like the strategy of a lot of drivers here in the early going, make moves on the outside, but get to the inside if you're just going to ride it out. So Therian and Stafford, identical moves there to get the lead. Therian will lead the lap. I believe that's the first lap he's led. Bronson Stafford, by the way, he started 21st position after not getting a time. It only took him 9 laps to get up to the lead. Now he's riding in third as the 34 of Robert Kenny able to get around him on the outside for the time being. Kenny getting a good run with the push from Tommy Gossett, where Tommy Gossett has been the stronger truck so far as pushing goes, it seems, as now Kenny does the exact same move, gets the lead on the outside, goes to the bottom. So definitely you're able to make passes on the outside, but it doesn't look like anyone really wants to stay on the outside for very long.
And this is it's a very common strategy actually on plate racing, and we've seen this time and time again in other races at Talladega too, whether it be in the Xfinity cars or the Cup cars. We've seen this at tracks like Daytona as well, as a matter of fact. You know, the outside line, that's where you need to be if you make moves. So when you get in these final few laps, then it's going to be the big question then is going to be, how in the heck are you going to manage things afterwards? They're actually going to pass Dylan Browning now and put him a lap down. Browning staying right on the apron to get out of these guys' way, not wanting to take any unnecessary risks. So good on Browning to stay well and truly out of the way. But you know, then it comes the question, how in the world do you defend both lines? Because what you'd probably have to do is you have to stay on the inside through the corners, and you'd have to jump to the top side when you see the outside getting a run, so you can get a bit of a bump for them to keep ahead of that inside line by the time you get back to the corners again.
a common phrase that you hear, especially on play tracks, is make your truck as wide as you possibly can. That means protect the bottom when you have to, and if you see a run coming at the top, you protect that. You keep constantly bouncing back and forth on the line to try to keep them at bay. It's called making your truck wide, and that's what you got to do when you're the leader. We're not seeing it right now out of race leader Robert Kenny because the outside lane isn't necessarily getting a run now, as the leader of the outside lane is currently the 07 of Stephen Hamill, who's about 5 trucks back right now. He's currently being scored in the 5th position, trying to get a run, so he doesn't have to worry about it right now. Plus, we're only on lap 12 of 94. I won't expect to see so much of the making the truck wide until the second half of the race, perhaps after that halfway stage break at lap 47. I think that's when we'll start seeing guys protect both lanes. Until then, I expect to see it right now where the inside guys just stay to the bottom. They don't necessarily worry about the outside lane coming up a whole lot and getting around them until we get to that halfway stage. When we get to the halfway stage, that's when I think we're going to start seeing the leader go on full defense mode, both lanes, not just the bottom.
Kenny's held the lead now for about 3 or 4 laps here, which is definitely the most out of any driver so far in the race. Hamill has just not been able to get the run that he needs to make something work. You can see Shane Therian was trying to look maybe to the middle groove to maybe get up there, but unfortunately for him, Hamill's already in there now. Hamill on the charge with help behind from Tommy Gossett, trying to go for the lead around the outside. Oh, a bit of a wobble there from Kenny, getting back to the low side, and that unsettled the inside lane. Shane Therian and Ron Stafford had to follow suit, so it's again one of those challenging situations where you got to try to figure out how are you going to make your way up there. And there you can see, well, there you go, Shane Therian jumping to the top side, wanting to get the help. He wants to go for the lead again. Stephen Hamill now going to be forced to help him out. Therian saw the gap, but he's jumped up and he's made that one work for himself. So there you have it. Well, Shane Therian knew his leader. Now he's back to the inside. That's how you go for a position right there. When you stuck on the inside, 3 wide though behind him.
Textbook move by Therian to get out in front of the draft of Hamill and get the spot. Meanwhile, behind him, the 10 of Steve Durham was trying to get the outside lane to work. He had help, I believe, it was from the 84 of Dyer, but Durham kind of got shuffled up almost to the wall. He kept it off the wall, but he lost his drafting partner in the process, so that's going to shuffle him back, and now he's got to fall in line back here in, I believe, the 13th position or 12th position or so, somewhere back there behind the 76 of Tyler Tomasi. We'll see where it settles down when it's all said and done, but Durham was trying to get that 10 truck wound up on the extreme outside. Oh, we got a problem behind him. It's the 07.
And that's going to be a multi-truck, isn't it? At least 3 caught up in this one. Christian Gomez caught up in it as well. And what in the world happened here? Oh, it was like you said, it was Stephen Hamill, your race leader, who got hooked to the outside line, bounced into the wall, bounced off the wall again, and a 3rd time as well before it came down. And unfortunately, nowhere to go for Alex Walter in the 63, and Christian Gomez was caught up in that one as well. I think Justin Dietrich might have some damage. Tanner Johnson as well. So not quite a big one, but definitely a multi-car incident in the just off of turn number 4, replay on your screens as watches. Everyone just piles behind him. Good job on the 07 though to keep that car to the outside wall so it didn't bounce out and take out everybody else in the field.
Yeah, Hamill held that truck as high as he possibly could for as long as he possibly could. And that's a product of Talladega, this play racing with the draft. You saw right there, just one little bump from Gossett that wasn't exactly where the truck needs to be. And all of a sudden, next thing you knew, Hamill was up in the wall. So that's a tough break for Hamill, who was making that outside lane work as he got up there. And unfortunately for him, right as he gets the lead, just one bump that's just not in the exact spot it needs to be is the end of that run for Hamill, and he goes to the pits. And that's not the fault of Tommy Gossett Jr. by any means. That's just unfortunate. That's just the product of Talladega, where the air is so sensitive here that if something happens and it's just a hair off, it can go wrong in a big hurry. We saw it right there, as looks like we are going to see pit stops for the first time today.
Dylan Browning looked like he got the lucky dog, and well, it's going to be Shane Therian to lead them down to the pit road. So Stephen Hamill has disconnected. He is no longer in this race, so our first retirement as well. It looks like Christian Gomez might be out of the fight as well. He's still sitting on the lane, so Therian leads them down. We'll lead them off. It's going to be right side tires for your race lead. We saw some interesting pit strategy calls. It doesn't look like we're going to get any of the strategy gambling just yet. 4 tires and fuel there. Full service for Therian, but he is going to lose the lead here. here, because look who's just up the road ahead of him. Well, sir, that is Robert Kenny, who is once again taking the lead, this time in the pit stop cycle at the number 34.
He will be second on the track because Matthew Rodriguez stayed out to lead a lap. We'll see if Rodriguez pulls into pit road here, but great job by Robert Kenny's crew to get out there. Kenny from the 17th starting spot, currently being scored number 2 on the tower, with Shane Theron, who started 1 spot ahead of him in 16th. Looking at this, the top 5 drivers, none of them started inside the top 15.
Correct. Nobody starting in the top 15. So, well, there you go. Huge shakeup right now. This is going to be the first caution most of Matthew Rodriguez. 25th. He's up to first for now. Even we might expect might be a race leader, Robert Kenny. 17th to second, 16th to third. It's nobody in the top 5 actually started in the top 15. So it's been a really huge shakeup so far.
That's just a product of plate racing at Talladega. You can go from 1st to 30th and back to 1st, and you're just coming into turn 3 at this track if things go your way. So that's what I love about this track. This track is so unpredictable and how this thing shakes out. And we're only 16 laps in, and the top 5 didn't even start in the top 15. Our pole sitter, Justin Dietrich, back to 17th position currently on the charts. There's such a big shakeup in the standings right now, and we're still in the first quarter of this race.
Still in the first quarter for sure. So, well, it's going to be still in the first quarter of the race, like you said. We've got about, well, it was about 31 laps at the line before that stage break. And, well, there you see Matthew Rodriguez now taking it to the lane. He's led his lap. He wants to go and get service now. So, as we expected, Robert Kenny is going to be in the lead of this one for now.
Great job by Matthew Rodriguez getting Sunoco here on LSR TV, coming in, getting the lap led, and pulls into the pits for his service. And he will be at the tail end of the field, which does not mean anything because of just how much the racing here goes, as Robert Kenny 17th to 1st now leading the way. And the guy who's going to be the big benefactor from this, well, a couple of guys I would say, Justin Teal in the 32 and Dylan Browning in the 12. A couple of guys who got shuffled back and lost the draft in the early stages. They will be both back on the lead lap now, as Browning, I believe, got the lucky dog, and he's coming off pit road right now in the 12 after taking his pit stop. So they will be able to latch back onto the draft and be able to work their way back up here.
Well, the two big trucks that do have damage is Tanner Johnson, who's got some damage on the front of the grill, and the other one is Alex Walter, who's bringing it back down to fix some more of that damage. He's got some left rear, very minor, and right front. Those are two trucks caught up in the major incident. Another truck that was involved, who is currently on the circuit, is Justin Dietrich. But from what I can see, he actually managed to, well, luckily netcode his way out of getting any damage in that accident. So, well, there you have it. Lady luck apparently on Dietrich's side today, despite him, well, losing out on his lead severely due to the shuffle.
He's got plenty of time to make his way back up, and you'll see that early in the race. A lot of drivers not worried about getting shuffled back that quickly because they know as soon as a caution comes out that they'll be right tucked back on to the tail end of the field. I know they were hoping for a caution per se before we got to the halfway break, because if they're riding around, they're losing so much time just not being caught up on the draft. I believe you said earlier it was 6 seconds difference and 15 miles per hour difference in lap times and race speed when you're riding around by yourself and when you're in a draft here in the pack. So the driver's lucky they catch a break with the caution and they get a chance to reset and work their way through the field. I'm watching for that 21 of Dietrich and the 32 of Teal to really start making their way through the field early. As well, Tommy Gossett in the 80, who we saw up at the front at the time of that. He was the driver who was caught up in the start of that with the 07 of Hamill. He had to come in and get some damage repaired on the 80 truck, so he's able to latch back onto the tail end of the field, as well as Trenton Jump and Matthew Rodriguez make a couple more pit stops here, so perhaps getting a little bit more work done to the 46 and the 57.
Logan Brakey is also down at the lane. The interesting thing about Brakey, at least, is that he was not involved in any way in that accident. So you wonder if he's topping up on fuel, because of course the fuel tanks on these trucks are limited. So he's probably topping up on some fuel here to see if he can make it through the end of the stage without having to pit again, which is certainly not a bad idea. I mean, you've only got 25 trucks, and you know that at least 3 of them aren't on the lead lap anymore. The other 2 are damaged, so you're set for probably at least a top 20 finish. So it's an interesting call there from Brakey. He's going to put himself at the back of the field. Prior to that pit stop, he was, well, he wasn't exactly that far up in the first place. He was trying to get a beat on where he was. He was over at 12th, so he was currently hanging about midfield, so maybe he's also looking to put himself at the back and get a bit of service done while he was at it.
Yeah, we'll see. Perfect opportunity for the caution, because when you are under caution at a track such as Talladega, you have about 3 minutes to get work done to the car before you have to get going and get out in front of the pace car, and by the time you get back around, you have another few minutes, not quite 3, to be able to get work done. So fortunately, a lot of time is able to be spent on pit road because of just the length of the laps here under caution, as we are still working yellow flag conditions. 18 laps on the board right now, working lap 18. Robert Kenny leading the way after beating Shane Theron off of pit road. So when we go back racing, it'll be in the hands of Robert Kenny in the 34.
One thing you want to mention is, you know, the good thing about these caution times being very long is, like you said, it gives you a lot of time to be able to fix those repairs. The laps running are about, well, let's put it this way. If you had, say, 1 minute and 45 seconds worth of damages, which is very significant damage, you would actually be able to fix that and get back up to the field without losing a single lap, because the laps here under caution, they're about 2.5 minutes. So that goes to show you, know, these are very long caution times. That's the good news about pacing at a track that's getting caught up in a wreck. You have more than enough time to go and fix that damage without losing laps. It's honestly amazing to see. And while Alex Walter's still hanging out there, it's gonna be very interesting to see. As you can see, there's a bunch of drivers coming down now. I can see, well, let's look back and see. We've got Jeremy Matteo coming down, Tommy Gossett, Logan Brakey again, so another top for him. Trenton Jump, Rodriguez, Walter, and Browning. So a lot of drivers, I think, taking that top-up strategy to try to make it to the end of the stage.
Might as well. You have nothing else to lose here. You're under caution. You're just riding around right now, burning fuel, burning tires off, albeit very little. But you might as well just say, hey, if I can make it here to the end, if it stays green, I'm going to. So a couple of drivers making their way in, but it looks like we finally have the lights out on the pace car, Nolan, as the field has doubled up single file. So it looks like we may finally get set to go back racing.
Yes, indeed. Ready to go back green flag racing. Let me tell you what, even after this one ends, it is not going to be the final time we go green flag racing tonight, because later on, of course, we got the United States Modified Touring Series coming up at 8:50 p.m. Central Time there at the dirt track of Charlotte right now. That is going to be a series to behold. Of course, the first race decided in a 2,000th of a second, 3-wide photo finish that made the top 10 list right up at the top spot on the Iron Things highlights of the month for March. So that is going to be a race that you're not going to want to miss tonight. Last week was Eldora. That was a thrill to behold as well. But for now, it is time to get back green flag racing here for the third round in the chase for the Adrenaline iRacing League.
Okay, set to go back to green flag racing here at Talladega. Field in turn 3. Robert Kenny looks like he is elected to take the outside lane for this restart, which we saw the outside lane was better for getting track position, but once you got that track position, you wanted to settle down. Wonder if maybe there's a little bit of communication between Kenny and Theron. Maybe they're just going to do the old-fashioned, let me get in front and then I'll come down in front of you and we will try to take off and protect the top. And it looks like Christian Gomez has also retired from the race.
It's an interesting one to say the least, because while the outside is better for making positions when you're up to speed, it's not the best for making positions when you're not up to speed. And they're very much not up to speed, so we'll have to see if this will help Kenny, if they're able to let him down in front, or if this is gonna come back to bite Kenny right in the rear. But now on the loud pedal early, he is off and away, and it does look like Varian is going to be letting him in easily as well. Drive started to double file away, looking like they might go 3-0 into the back, but for now, everybody is clean and green. The field very much spread out on this restart.
Kenny gets down in front of Theron as Drew Ashley trying to make the outside lane work. He will tuck in behind Bronson Stafford, who is still up in that third position. Getting a run on the outside is the Taco Bell Toyota of Eric Stamp. We haven't mentioned his name, but he has been quietly riding around in the top 10 pretty much all day. Started third, currently riding in fifth, going after the 4 of Ashley for the 4th position with Matt Dyer behind him. So in the early stages of this green flag run, Eric Stamp leading the outside lane charge through the early going. As a slight breakaway before we get back to Gretoric in the 15 with, that's Austin in the 15 with Calvin right behind him in the 98. So the Gretorics currently riding 7th and 8th so far to start off this green flag run as we complete the first lap.
Indeed, it seems like the two Englishmen are looking very, very strong for now. So, well, it's going to be an interesting one for the two Gretorics. We believe they are potentially siblings or at least relatives. Eric Stamp, though, pushing to the lead. Last week, of course, Eric Stamp was the most controversial driver of the race, retaliated under caution and got disqualified from the race. Well, now Stamp is trying to fight back, trying to bounce back from that race, which arguably went, well, let's say less than optimal for him. He's right now inside the top 5, and with the help of Matt Dyer, he's trying to go right to the front.
He got up to the door of Robert Kenny, but Kenny was able to use the shorter lane through the corner to make it work. And notice what Matt Dyer did right there. He saw the hole forming on the inside and went to the bottom. That says a lot to me because that shows that he feels that the inside lane is the better lane to have right now when there's more trucks in there, as he was kind of by himself with Stamp there on the outside. It was a little ways back before the next truck in line, the 4 of Drew Ashley, was back there. So Dyer saw an opportunity to get down to the bottom and stay up in the top 5, and he took it, and it might wind up costing him at least a shot at getting up into the front for the time being, as Stamp is now able to get a run with Drew Ashley on his back bumper on the outside, and Stamp has been able to get his way around Dyer, bringing Ashley with him, and Ashley is able to clear Dyer as well as Stamp brings up the outside lane once again, and he is getting a run. It's going to be close at the line as they cross it. Too close to call the line. We wait for scoring, and it's Stamp leading the lap right now. So the outside lane working all of a sudden, and now Dyer has to be wondering if maybe he should get back to the outside if he gets room.
I found out the reason why Robert Kenny got such a good restart there over Shane Theron, and that's because they are teammates for Sky Motorsports, so obviously a little bit of communications amongst teams going on there for sure. Tanner Johnson, a driver on the apron up front, they are going to put him a lap down here, so Johnson not going to have anything to play in this one, but there you go. So team strategy is coming into play as well, as Shane Theron now running second place on the inside line, 4th overall. Stamp still trying to go for the lead around the outside of the Taco Bell Toyota in the number 53. He's going to be able to get this one work. He's going to be well clear at the line. And he's actually staying up top here to allow Drew Ashley up, and they're going to go right to the inside as well. So Drew Ashley and Eric Stamp, they are having a really good go at things as well. So it looks like, well, it was good for Eric Stamp to allow Drew Ashley to get him behind him, because now it's going to take that much longer for the outside line to catch both of them.
Stamp looking to live Moss up at the front for as long as he possibly can. Here on the backstretch of Talladega, Drew Ashley in second, but the outside lane is beginning their next move on the outside, and look who it is leading the outside lane. No one but your points leader, Ryan Hartz. We mentioned he was kind of hanging back there. All of a sudden, before you know it, here he is contending for the lead off of turn number 4, coming to start lap 25. 24 in the books, and the points leader, Ryan Hartz, gets the lead, but they fan out behind him, and we shuffle through the tri-oval.
Oh, heads up, that 45 truck is getting ditched in the middle. Cody Schlaudecker, well, it's all gone wrong for him. He ended up getting completely abandoned in the middle groove, and now he's going to try to find a way back to the bottom, but he's not going to. Stafford is in there on his inside, and he had Steve Durham pinned on the outside up in the marbles. So, well, unfortunate there as the entire field is now fanned out. We're now spread out, still going 3 wide here. It's going to take them a little bit to get themselves close back in, but that certainly got close. We just about had our second caution of the night there.
And I noticed that's the second time that that's happened to Steve Durham here this afternoon. Gets a run on the outside, and something doesn't go his way, and he loses touch with his drafting partner, and he gets shuffled all the way back. Second time today that has happened to the 10 truck. So, you know, he's got to be getting frustrated being so close to being able to get up and make a run for the lead, and just to get shuffled all the way back once again and start over at square one. So some frustration might be getting to settle in with Steve Durham. He was third the last time by. He now sits 15th at the tail end of the field.
Points leader Ryan Hartz is still out in front. I am noticing that Hartz has gotten some left rear damage, and that the front left, the left rear, excuse me, of that Chevy Silverado is definitely not looking very healthy at all. Might make him a bit of a difficult truck to push for Eric Stam, who's got to try not to tag that left side again, or it could mean absolute disaster for everybody in the field right now, especially if this is going on. We did have another crash. Tanner Johnson apparently has wrecked his truck, and we're gonna take a look back and see if we can figure out what in the world happened to Tanner Johnson. Not quite, and it actually, sorry, it appears like his engine just might have let go.
And that's a thing that you have to worry about here with the trucks in that form, is if you continue on the damage for too long, your engine can expire because of the overuse you're trying to get out of it. And Nolan, another driver that is in the pits right now, and this is a tough break. Shane Theron, who is up at the front for most of that race, his receiver fell through, his connection dropped. He's back in now, but that is going to cost him dearly, as he is already 1 lap down, and he's going to be 2 laps down if he doesn't get rolling soon. He's back in the session trying to get his truck back out there, but that is a tough break for Shane Theron, as he is 1 lap down, 2 laps down as the field comes through the tri-oval.
Not to mention massive championship implications as well, because remember, he was your second place points runner. I mean, already he was 94 points behind. That means that Trenton Jump now will take the points lead. 132 points behind Ryan Hartz going into today's race. So some very heavy championship implications there as well. And if they can't find a way, if Ryan Hartz doesn't get taken out in this race, I'm afraid that, I don't know, it might get to the point where Ryan Hartz might even get an early championship.
And Hartz is having such a strong run right now, currently up in the 5th spot after leading a couple of laps up there. Now he's just kind of settled down. It looks like he's, I believe, the 3rd truck on the inside lane. How about Tommy Gossett getting back up there into the top 5 after being caught up in that incident, making a couple extra stops on pit road to get some damage fixed. He's worked his way back up into the top 5. No surprise, giving a push to another driver. Now he's tucked in behind Tyler Tomasi. It looks like that 80 truck is inclined to just push another guy up to the front right now and try to get himself in position to pounce later on in the race.
Well, actually, as you say that, Goss goes to the outside line, and where there's no helmet, where that's where all the marbles are, he is going to fade all the way to the back of this one in a hurry. So, well, Gossett, he's out of luck now on that outside line. Not sure if he got pushed up there. It looked like he almost went up there deliberately, not liking what he was seeing up front potentially. Wanted to play it a bit safer right now, but he's back now in the mid-pack. He's got to try to catch the 4 truck of Drew Ashley in his number 4 Toyota Tundra. So, well, I'll tell you what, this has been a pretty good race so far. They are going to have some more lap traffic to catch here soon as Bronson Stafford leads. Alex Walter is just up the road. And remember how Tanner D. Johnson's engine blew because he had that front end damage. Well, Alex Walter also has front end damage. Not as severe, but it is there. So that's definitely affecting him performance-wise, because he's topping out at 163 miles an hour. You should be able to hit about 175 on your own. So he's 10 miles an hour off the pace. He's just a normal driver, but he is about 20 miles an hour off the pace of these trucks that are about to lap here. So Alex Walton, he's got to get out of the way and in a hurry.
Remember, no fast repairs in this series, so he's not able to pull in and just get the fast repair and get right back out there. So he's hoping on another caution as soon as he possibly can before that lap 47 stage break, so he can go in and get as much work done as you possibly can. As Tomasi getting a run now on the outside of Stafford with some help from the 84 of Dyer as they get around the 63 of Walter. And Walter just does a good job staying out of the way there and letting everybody go as they continue to circuit through Talladega right now. And Bronson Stafford, 21st starting position, up in the lead right now with Robert Kenny tucked in behind him. Ryan Harth behind him, as looks like the inside lane got a really good run there through turn 1 and 2 as a couple of trucks were able to get back around Tomasi, who now begins his charge up on the outside again. Oh, he swashes up kind of like what the 80 of Gossett did a few laps ago. That's going to give the lead on the outside to Dyer, and Dyer is going to lose the ground now as he was a little bit further ahead of the truck behind him. So now the inside lane is the advantage right now, as we'll try to see how things settle down here with this run as Bronson Stafford continues to lead. But look who Dyer has to his inside, the 80 of Gossett, who looks like he has settled into the inside lane for the time being after it looked like he was the one kind of being the main pusher on the outside.
Only 4 trucks on that top side right now. You got Dyer, Matteo, Ashley, and way in the back, Trenton Jump. So those are the only 3 trucks on the outside, or 4 trucks on the outside line. You can see there's 1 truck in the middle there, Tommy Gossett, that was looking for it. But, you know, when you only got 4 trucks, you're not going to have quite the momentum you need to try to make something work. And it looks like Gossett is going to try that middle groove, but that's not going to, I'm afraid that's not going to go too well for him. He's going to have to file back in line to avoid losing even more positions there in the number 80. The 10 truck, though, of Steve Durham might be looking to come on in here for a stop here on this lap. And in fact, he is Steve Durham pulling off. So there's 1 truck that was not safe to make it to the end of this one. We still have about 15 laps as of now to the end of the stage. So we're looking to be like we might have to make 1 final stop here before the end of the stage.
But notice that he is all by himself. That could be criminal to your race if no one else pulls in here. All by himself on pit road, and we've mentioned it a couple of times already. When you're by yourself, you're about 15 miles per hour slower and about 6 seconds slower than the field in the pack. So if Durham is by himself for the remainder, it could be a long 15 laps to the end of this session.
You really need to come down with a drafting partner at a plate track like this, because you're just not going to be able to have any kind of speed on your own. You need at least 1 or 2 trucks, preferably 4 tops, or 4 at the least, to go down with you. It's going to be more risky because you risk being run over from behind or running over someone in front of you. But at least when you get to the exit, you know you're going to have that driver to work with. And right now, Steve Durham doesn't have that, and he's already almost a lap down because he's just now exiting turn 2. He's about halfway down the backstretch right now, and he is not going to be able to get up to speed for some time yet. So this might, like you said, it might be critical to Steve Durham's run. He would really need a caution right now to maybe help him out if the rest of this field doesn't want to come down for a little while yet, as they are now all single filed out and a nice and orderly row behind them. A couple trucks trying to make the look behind them. It looks like I can see actually Drew Ashley making a pass around the outside of Jared Matteo. He's going to be able to get that one slotted back in line, but apart from that, single file all throughout this lead field.
Steve Durham is going to just about now be getting up to full speed. He's about the length of the tri-oval ahead of our race leader, Bronson Stafford. So we're going to see it here in just a moment, that sheer difference of having a drafting partner as opposed to being by yourself. As I'm noticing, I'm looking up ahead, the 10 of Durham is up at the wall, trying that qualifying strategy we talked about in qualifying. Get up on the outside, get as much momentum built up as you possibly can to try to make it work. And we're going to see it here shortly as the field is coming, and they're coming in a hurry.
They are definitely coming in a hurry as well. This is it's going to be looking very, very antsy. There you can see the last by at the line. Steve Durham, a 1 minute and 1 second time compared to the rest of the field's 52-second times. That's in comparison to, you know, all these drivers running around in the field compared to Steve Durham's single lap on his lonesome. A couple more drivers coming down to the lane. No, it's going to be a big group of trucks coming down, about 6 or 7, 8 maybe. 4 wide on the pit entry behind them, with one of them actually already in the pit box as Logan Brakey currently caught in the middle of a 3-wide situation. That almost got antsy, and look out everybody trying to file in, and Well, a couple close calls there. Contact at the pits as Tyler Tomasi driving, hitting the side of, I think it was Logan Brake in the middle of the pit cycle there.
So some hairiness on pit road right now as our drivers beginning to come in. And this is what Steve Durham was hoping for, to be able to catch a big group of trucks, to have some drafting help right now as green flag pit stops unfolding here. Truck on there is pulling in, with the exception of Steve Durham, who had just been caught by the leaders. So he's going to stay on the lead lap for now. And maybe, just maybe, he can catch on to perhaps the group of that, or the draft of that first group, and he might have caught himself a break here.
That's going to be really critical for Durham. He's got to put in a really strong lap right now, because he lost quite a bit of time in the pits, and I'll tell you what, he did not manage to catch the draft of that top field, because they're already in turn 3, he's still on the back straightaway. So Steve Durham has lost the draft of that lead field, and I can see that original field also in the pit lane. I think what happened there is, well, Steve Durham might have just shot himself in the foot for the stage, because he is left with no help, period. So Steve Durham, not what he was wanting to see at all in the number 10. He is in for, like we said, a very long end to this stage. Now it's going to be the question of who's going to be leading out of the exit. Looks like Bronson Stafford is actually managed to link him with the draft of Alex Walter right ahead of him. And this is going to help to try to maybe pull a bit of a gap here on the rest of this field behind them. So, well, interesting calls here from everybody throughout the field. About half the field coming down 1 second and half the field coming down the next. It was certainly an interesting one, as now where you can see this field will definitely start to, well, get themselves bunched up together again.
I was wondering if Steve Durham was going to perhaps be able to catch the draft of the group behind him, but he's so far ahead of everybody right now. I don't know that they're going to have enough time to get to him, because they are still relatively spread out right now. So I'm not so sure that Durham is going to be able to tack onto the group behind him either. He might just be stuck riding by himself until the end of the stage, which is definitely not what he wanted to see happen, as looks like Stafford is still going to be scored as the race leader here once this is complete cycle through. But definitely a shakeup here with pit stops and the way that unfolded. It was kind of cool seeing literally half the group come down on one lap and then the second half come down the other one. You don't see that too often. Sometimes you see it spread out around 3 or 4 laps, but it looked like the entire field went on just 2 laps there.
Heads up here, the third place is reeling in this top 2 with a massive head of steam. He's not going to want to lift up. He can't afford to lift up because he's got another truck on his bumper. So could see a big swap for the lead here. Austin Retorix closing. Will they like to make the move for the position? He is not going to. He's going to gently lift off. So the top 6 net now running a line astern. You've got 7th on back through 11th trying to catch them as well. Looks like other drivers like 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th are going to be running in their own little respective groups. So now we've really split it up now to a bunch of single file groups here. And well, it looks like the 2 larger lines are looking to close back in here shortly. But well, there you go. First pit cycle's complete with less than 10 laps to go now until the end of the stage. And I can see that second group is looking to make moves. Tyler Tomasi running the middle group. He's got Eric Stamp pushing him.
He had a great shot off of turn number 2 there and was really able to close up on the back bumper of Calvin Retoric right there. And that's the advantage that the second group has. As soon as they can sniff the draft of that first group and just barely catch on, it'll pull them up like nothing to it. And we saw it right there, as now that second group has caught on, and now Eric Stamp beginning to make the move on the outside again, trying to lead the outside lane. Matt Dyer recognized that and moved up to try to catch the draft when he got there, and he had a truck go up behind him in that 84 car. I believe it was, well, I don't know who it was there, but whoever it was just gave him a huge shot right to the lead. Matt Dyer able to get a great run on the outside. I believe that was Gretoric behind him that was able to push him up there to the lead. And suddenly Matt Dyer up to the front.
It was Cody Schlottegger that was able to give him the big push, and now in the middle of this group is again Shane Therian, who is back on the racing service now after fixing his connection issues in the number 38 machine. Currently running about 3 laps down from the field thereabouts, and well, it all went wrong for Shane Therian in a heartbeat. Now 3 laps down from Matt Dyer, the race leader. It's he's gonna have to hope for quite a few cautions if he's gonna have a hope of making his way back to the front there. You can see Jeremy Matteo running in 20th place right now. He's about to go a lap down for this field as well. He's gonna keep it right to the wall, let the field by on the inside, and well, I can see Alex Walton just up the road as well. And it does look actually like Steve Durham did actually manage to link up with 16th, 17th, and 18th place. So that's the good news for Durham, is he did manage to link up with a 4-car train of his own. You see him running third in line there. That's going to help him to make sure that he can stay on the lead lap by the end of the stage.
Durham is going to be thanking his lucky stars that he was able to catch on there, because he was in danger of going a lap down. Not only did he manage to catch on, he managed to stay on the lead lap. He's about a half lap back, but he knows he's getting a caution in around 5 laps or so before the end of the stage. So he, I think, is going to be more than content to just ride it out and not make any moves on Evan Coleman and Dylan Browning, the drivers that he's in, tucked in behind with Matthew Rodriguez behind him. This 4-car group that's coming off turn 2 right now, they're going to be content to just ride. Actually, turn 4, sorry.
Huge bump there for Cody Schlaudecker after getting hit right up the backside by Eric Stam. Stam was not wanting to lift, he was wanting to go, so he gave him a massive shot, which actually unsettled the 45 and nearly turned him around. So, well, Schlaudecker, a bit of a close call for the 45, as Eric Stam might be getting a little over-aggressive. We've got 5 laps till the end of the stage now as they cross the start-finish line once again. So very little time left to go in this one in the first stage before we reach that halfway point. Schlaudecker, he's still at the middle line. You saw Stamp look to the outside, wasn't able to get the run going, had to filter back in line. Currently still running second on that outside groove.
Dyer able to get the lead there. Remember, the 38 of Therian is 2 laps down, but he's the one that's pushing the 84 of Dyer. Actually, 2 laps down is the 38 of Therian, but he was able to tuck in there. So the 38 not racing for position, but he is giving an advantage to Matt Dyer, being able to give him a push there on the bottom. The outside lane, meanwhile, able to get a good run through turn 3 and 4 there, as Schlaudecker back to the lead in the 45 with help from Eric Stamp. Trying to get up there, look out. He comes down in front of Dyer. That's going to allow Stamp to get a run with help from Brecky in the Sportsnet car or truck behind him. The Toyota Tundra with Sportsnet on the hood, trying to get up there and get towards the front for the first time. Trying to jump behind him.
Things are looking a little bit more antsy now. Just 4 laps to go, 3.5 now until the end of the stage, and we reached that halfway point. Cody Schlaudecker still running in the lead. He's got Matt Dyer to push. Stamp still trying to fight around the outside, and now there you can see we were talking about making your truck as wide as possible, and there you go. Schlaudecker did that perfectly. Made the truck as wide as possible, jumped to the outside line. Now he's going to have to get Eric Stamp to push him back into the front now to make sure that Dyer can't clear. Therian can actually drop way to the back here. Shane Therian actually going to be coming down to the pits, so Therian bailing out of this one. He's down to the lane, and this has allowed Eric Stamp to once again push Matt Dyer. Cody Schlaudecker right through to the front, so things are looking a bit more antsy. 3 laps to go until the end of the stage.
Drivers trying to settle in, and remember, points are on the line here at this stage break, and with it being the playoffs, points are critical right now to try to get yourself up in a position to contend for that championship. If you can get yourself in position if something were to happen to the 3 of Ryan Hart's. So a lot of points on the line here, and this is very antsy here, these final 2 laps, trying to get yourself in a good position.
Very antsy as we continue to reel away at the time. Every inch is 1 inch less in stage number 1 today. You can see one driver filtering to the top side. That's the Sportsnet machine of Logan Breaky for 4th place, bailing out 3 wide up on the top side, but the 29 truck gonna have to filter back in line. So whether they got shoveled up or went up there willingly, I guess we'll never quite know. There's a bit of a gradual move out there for sure. 2 laps to go now to the end of the stage. Eric Stamp still looking for the stage win, still being pushed by Trenton Jump.
Jump able to get a good push on the back of the 53 of Stamp as they come down the backstretch. Closing stages of this first stage, first half if you will, as they make their way through. And Stamp able to get out to the lead for now in the 53 truck, with Jump behind him. So here they come through the tri-oval. They fan out, and look at this battle coming through here. Oh! They contact. Big wreck.
Two trucks upside down, one into the fence, and the third one wrecking up front as well. That's going to be a big caution, which will end the stage. Ryan Hart's your points leader caught up in this one, Greg. He was upside down to the infield. Huge championship implications. That's going to allow Trenton Jump potentially up to the lead. Did Jump get involved with that, though? He didn't. This is absolutely golden for both Jump and Therian, as a matter of fact.
What did we just say before that? If something were to go wrong with the three of Ryan Hart's, the drivers back there in points could be able to get a run at him, and there it is right there, coming through the tri-oval to close out the stage. I won't say the big one, but a mini big one, and suddenly the entire complexion of the points just changed.
And who started this one? Well, it's our aggressive driver, Bronson Stafford, to give a shot to the back of Matt Dyer. And unfortunately, Dyer had to check up to avoid running through Trenton Jump, and he just got hooked to the outside. And, well, collected in this one was Schlaudecker. I know Hart's got in it big. You saw Robert Kenya was caught up in that one. He was one of the trucks that flipped over and into the catch fencing. I know Logan Brake, who had just faded to the back, was caught up in that one as well. You can see... I already said Robert Kennedy was caught up in this one, which just goes to show there was another driver that was caught up in that one. It was actually Calvin Gretorix. So a good 6 trucks caught up in this one, and 2 of them flipping upside down. Oh my God, this has just blown the championship absolutely wide open.
Drivers coming down pit road right now, and wow. This is incredible. What a development. Right at the end of the first half of the race, the points leader getting caught up in it. And what a tough break. And yeah, Nolan, this blows the entire points picture wide open. And this may play right into the 46 of Trenton Jump's hands.
Now the question is going to be, well, it could be for Shane Therian. You got to remember that Ryan Hart's, you got to remember he's going to lose out a lot of spots. This could actually help out Therian as well. Oh my goodness, this is definitely been a big one. Field's still filtering out through these pit cycles. Well, my goodness. What a turnaround right at the conclusion of the stage as well. They were just coming to take the white flag for the stage.
And Ryan Hart's has retired from the race. The points leader will DNF today and will finish outside of the top 20 when it's all said and done.
Oh my goodness. What a massive, massive turnaround. That was something else. I'll tell you what, I didn't think it would happen, but you could also tell it was going to get antsy, and well, serious drama here in the third round of the Adrenaline iRacing League in the third race of the chase. And well, you want to see another series that's got some drama going on in it for sure on the racetrack. Well, come take a look at the United States Modified Touring Series tonight at 8:50 p.m. Central Time, running at the dirt track of Charlotte. That has been a thriller of a series from start to finish. So going to be having yet another race where we'll be on call tonight. Brandon Cruz going to be joining us in the booth for that one as well. So, well, one more series to look out for tonight if you want an exciting one. This has sort of been a thrill of a race so far, Greg. Well, now past the halfway point in this race, serious championship implications here at Talladega after your points leader, who has wanted a good run today, taken out in a massive 6-truck crash that saw both him and Trenton Jump and one other truck, not Trenton Jump, getting turned upside down. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
They say everything is bigger. These guys down in Texas aren't messing around. This feature race will separate the boys from the men, the girls from the ladies. Can you handle racing 300 laps for $25,000? It's not as easy as you think. We don't stop to tow those too weak. We just push them out of the way. We don't run 20 laps. We run 300 each night. We don't care about what you and your boys have under the hood. Bring all you got. Don't be scared. Call my Cowboy Jack today to get signed up. It all goes down on October 2nd and 3rd in Mesquite, Texas, just outside of Dallas. Kenny Wallace is coming back this year to try again. You don't have excuses. Go to LoneStar600.com now.
back at Talladega, lights are out on the pace truck, and well, real quick before we go green flag racing here, we did manage to actually catch up with one of the drivers, Cody Schlotdecker. Cody, you were just released from, I believe, the infield care center after a very wild ride for you down the front straightaway, where not one of the two trucks flipped, but still very high-speed crash there to end off the first stage. Walk us through it.
Yeah, definitely. I just gotta say thanks, guys, for broadcasting. And there in the beginning, it started out back, and me and Brian really got a good jump there in the last restart, trying to make our way up front, get a good stage win. And I got blindsided really bad. I don't know. I think Bronson maybe pushed the car in front of him a little too hard, and man, he just pile drived and T-boned us. And Brian went flipping behind me, and just that was the end of our day. Blew up, and I got 30 minutes of repairs.
Well, it's a bit of a shame to see that you're going to be out of the fight for today, as well as so many other drivers. Well, what are your thoughts on this championship? Because, well, real quick, because we don't have a whole lot of time before we go green here, but, well, Ryan Hart's your points leader. He's out of the race now, so this has just left the door wide open for potentially Trenton Jump to come in and steal it away.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting when we go green here. But for championship, it's definitely blown it wide open, like you said earlier. And I'm looking forward to some of those guys in the fourth, fifth position, maybe to get a steal out of it.
Well, thank you for your brief thoughts there, Cody. Sorry that I had to end so soon for you. A bit of a shame for you. Well, good luck with the rest of your day, and hopefully hope to talk to you again at some point throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks for everything. Thanks for having me on here. Good luck.
Well, one driver that also has had just some misfortunes is actually Calvin Gretorix, who blew up coming to the green flag, believe it or not. So he is back down in the pits, and he's likely in for a long stop of repairs here, Greg, as we are now back green flag racing with Eric Stamp running in the lead. It appears that Greg's still having some struggles with his computer. Of course, that crash ended up being so big that apparently it broke his PC as well. So waiting to see him getting things settled there. But for now, green flag racing once again. A little bit of a jump there from Dietrich, almost cleaning out the number 12 just up top. Bronson Stafford running the top side as well, trying to make something work around the outside. And he's got Dylan Brown in behind him. This could be interesting here for the lead.
Yeah, I'm back. I got the race feed going once again as we see Stamp on the inside here of Bronson trying to get a run on the inside. How about Dylan Brown and getting himself back into position here as he is just... he was caught up in that early incident where he spun out, lost group. He was up in the fourth position there. Loses touch, though, with Bronson Stafford and has to get it back as Stamp gets the lead back for now. As our pole sitter, Dietrich, able to get the run. He's back up in the second. Nolan.
Justin Dietrich back up and into second. So, well, this is going to be looking good for him if he can try to make something work. So, this is what Dietrich wants. He wants to be running them there single file right now. Well, a good portion of the drivers have been wiped out for this, and we're down to maybe about 9 or 10 right now that are running in this lead lap field. And check my math on that. We got 13 running in this lead lap field here out of the 25 that started originally. Of course, got a few drivers still on track, but damaging off pace, and another few drivers that have pulled off, including your points leader leading this title fight wide open. And well, it just goes to show you, it's a race of lady luck here, Greg. She makes her home at this track, and well, clearly one lady luck was definitely not happy with Mr. Hartz today.
Yeah, that's a tough break because he had spent the early portion of this race just kind of hanging back, staying out of trouble. And right when he decided to go up and try to make it work, Lady Luck bites him. And it's just a tough break for him to see it all unfold here. As one guy who has been up there in good position a couple of times, Tomasi in the 76 getting a run now on the outside from Stafford as Tomasi pulls up to the door of the 53 of Stamp, and it looks like Tomasi is going to get the 76 Toyota out in front for the time being. He's got the GoPro behind him with Bronson Stafford right on his back bumper. Dietrich gives a great shove into turn number 3 to get Stamp back out front. Look at that run that Dietrich was able to give Stamp, and Browning able to pull up on the inside now of Stafford. That will be for the 5th spot as Tomasi gets a good run through the tri-oval. Here they come once again.
Indeed, here they come. Tyler Tomasi looking around the outside, trying to go for the lead around Eric Stamp. Stamp not getting a bit of a shove now from Dietrich behind. Wasn't able to get a good run down out the tri-oval. So Stafford trying to pull that outside line, helping out Tyler Tomasi. Tomasi going to be clear of the 53, just barely down the back straightaway. Another fierce shove there from Stafford right into the back of Tomasi. Now Tomasi will be clear down in the turn number 3. Will he come down a block? He actually won't be able to because Stafford lets off, and that cuts out Tyler Tomasi's run, and now that outside line is just stalled.
Outside line stalled for the time being. Stamp able to get up front. We go on board now. This is on board with Stafford, the second truck in line on the outside. You see right there, the inside lane just making its way through. Here's Teal getting back up into the picture for the first time since his incident early where he lost touch with the initial draft of that 32, the Bud Light Lime truck. He's able to get up in position for the first time, bringing Drew Ashley with him. There's Steve Durham, who's caught back onto the draft after losing the draft for much of the end of the first stage there, as he was kind of riding, just hoping to be able to tag on. Finally was able to, right at the end, stay on the lead lap, and now he's right back up in the mix.
Drew Ashley been given a shot to the back from Tyler Tomasi. Tomasi trying to kickstart the, well, quite literally kickstart the momentum of that top side again as the Ford truck trying to make positions up. He's going to get around Justin Teal. He's also going to get around Austin Grenerix. They're approaching lap traffic of Tanner Johnson. Johnson's going to be way to the outside. He's going to be clean and green. Johnson, after getting into a new motor in his car, well, he's back out onto the track. They're going to be around Browning. They're going to be around Dietrich. All the way to the front now, side by side with Eric Stamp for the lead.
What a run by Drew Ashley, leading the charge on the outside with Tomasi right there behind him. Stafford as well. They come off turn number 2. Ashley has the spot for the time being, but he has to chase it up the track as the outside lane kind of shuffled a little bit. Tomasi thought about going high to get around Ashley. He instead shoots to the inside, and that's going to bring Tomasi there with him. Look at Stafford peeking low, and the inside lane is in full cooperation with each other now as the outside lane is kind of shuffled around trying to figure out who they want to lead the way, and that allows the inside line to really pull their way up.
That was brilliant there from Tyler Tomasi to absolutely ditch the Ford truck on the outside. So they really didn't go anywhere on the outside this time. They are having to, well, once again, fight on the inside. And, well, there you go. Tomasi back to the outside. He's trying to defend 2 lanes at once and heads up. The Ford truck almost getting turned by Stafford in the middle of 1 and 2. Stafford did lift off and cut the Ford truck a pretty massive break there.
Great job there to settle it down and keep things going right now as Ashley able to get another run on the outside. Boy, the outside lane just seems to really get a good run off of turn number 2, Nolan. And right here is where the inside lane really picks back up. The clean air on that inside lane just so strong through the corner, but that outside lane really seems to get a good launch off of turn number 2. Caution looks like possibly out. No, we're still green. I saw the wrong thing there, but Tomasi out in front right now. Eric Stamp right on the back bumper, trying to give him a push. Tomasi leads the lap, and you see Ashley and Bronson Stafford hooked up on the outside. The only 2 on the outside right now as it's a ways back to the 51 truck, where they will finally settle it down. But Tomasi gets the lead on the inside, and they've worked their way down the backstretch once again. But what a run by Ashley off of turn number 2 there.
Oh, absolutely. It was a brilliant run for Ashley, and he might be able to try to take the lead here over in turn number 4 if Stafford can give him the help that he needs. Right now, they've been running a lot more civilized than they have at the end of stage number 1. We're going to be coming up here to about 90, not 94 laps to go, pardon me, 34 laps to go here at the line. So we're now entering just about the final third of this race as well. So, well, the laps are starting to tick on down as we continue to run out of more and more time in this race. Tomasi still with a great drive. That outside line is still fading back.
One guy I'm noticing, he's on the outside lane. He's near the tail end of the outside lane. He's kind of just hanging out. We talked about him because he just moved into great position to the points. Wow! More on that in a minute. What a move there by Stamp in the 53 to get up in the outside lane, make it work. He brought Dietrich with him. Now they go back to the bottom, and here we're starting to see more of that making that truck wide, because now we're in the final stages of this race. So now you're going to start seeing guys protect the top as well as the bottom. Great move there by Stamp that time. Not going to work this time as Drew Ashley gets a run on the outside with help from Bronson Stafford in the 61 and in the 51 of Matthew right there as well.
That was a big checkup, and I had to hold my breath as they entered turn number 3 because they were all sorts of squirrely. They nearly lost it there, everybody in that field, so that would have been absolutely disastrous to this entire lean field. Looking 3 wide though. One truck trying to bump their way by the outside. That's Steve Durham that's trying to fight his way up, and he's got Tommy Gossett to help him, so they're going to be 3 wide, 2 rows deep here. Clearly, well, any kind of patience that was there about 5 laps ago is just gone now. Nobody wants to really work with Bronson Stafford. Unsurprising after that incident that saw our stage 1 end under caution. Durham still trying to follow his way up there and working his way around the top side. The top 4 single file down as now Stafford getting absolutely abandoned in the middle groove, but Durham being forced to let off as well. As now I think, oh boy, I think we're able to breathe again as there is Robert Kenny exiting the pits for the first time since he got wrecked out early.
Well, Steve Durham, he tried that exact same move about 3 times earlier in the race. Just didn't have any help with him. He had the guy who is probably, I've noted, to be one of the best pushers so far this race behind him in Tommy Gossett. Unfortunately for him, just had to check up, like you mentioned, and wasn't able to complete the run. But that was Steve Durham's best shot that he had on the outside. And now he's got Matthew in front of him in the 51 as we take a look back up at the lead. Drew Ashley leading the way in the number 4, the Kyle Busch Motorsports inspired number 4, leading the way with Stamp behind him. Stamp has led a good portion of the middle chunk of this race. Dietrich, the pole sitter, up in the 3rd spot, out the outside lane. A new guy leading the way, the 51 of Matthew. First time he's been a leader in the outside lane, or the inside lane for that matter, so far today. He's got Steve Durham back there pushing, Tommy Gossett behind them. They are battling side by side for the 3rd spot with Dietrich right now. And this right here is where the outside lane has been so much stronger than the inside lane. The exit off turn number 2, there you see it. Matthew getting a run on the outside, trying to get up to the 53 Stamp as Drew Ashley continues to lead the way. Steve Durham looking like a pretty good pusher himself as he is settling in behind Matthew, but a good jump there from Dietrich through turn 3 and 4 there.
Well, my goodness, this whole race has just been heating up from one moment to the next, and we're not really getting a whole lot of downtime where we can really rest our voices here. There's just been so much to talk about. 30 laps to go now in this one, so final third of the race underway. Well, and now it's going to be a question of, are they going to make it to the next green flag pit cycle? The last time they ran here, they did make it through a pit cycle in this final stage, to the point where they didn't actually crash until they crashed hard and big on the last lap of the race. Steve Durham looked high to make it 3 wide to fall back to the back of the outside line. You gotta wonder if it's gonna be kind of a similar situation here, because so far, well, realistically, the trend has almost followed exactly identical to how the first race went here at Talladega a couple months ago.
And you're hoping that these guys learn their lesson with how that stage ended there with the big wreck that took out our points leader. You're hoping that these guys take that as the notion to be like, okay, let's settle down, let's be smart here, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Still got a long way to go, 29, now 28 laps to go. So it's going to be quite some time here still before we really get into the crucial stages of this race. As Matthew gets a good run on the outside. Believe he might have led the lap, not sure, as he's got the nose in front. He's going to get the run from Tommy Gossett Jr. Or Tommy Gossett, I don't know why I said Jr. there, but again, the run off of turn number 2 on the outside there. Matthew shuts the door there. Gossett once again pushes another truck to the lead as he goes down to the bottom. Now he's got Steve Durham behind him. Durham was able to catch back up. Matthew leading for the first time today.
2 trucks on the outside, Gossett and Durham. Everybody else running single file, line of stern down on the bottom. So for now, we're looking to be a lot more civilized here in this one now that the calamity has been dealt with, it would seem. One more lap truck they have to worry about is Robert Ken, who is crawling along at a meager 145 miles an hour. And now Steve Durham abandoned on the outside line. That was, well, Steve Durham just expressed over the radio, he was none too pleased with Tommy Gossett about being ditched in the middle line there. He ended up losing a lot of momentum. Is now running line astern. I think, though, we've just seen two drivers that, well, at least Durham might have just scratched off somebody on his Christmas card list.
So Durham settles back in mid-pack, trying to get things settled down once again as we go single file, trying to work their way up right now. Matthew continues to lead the way, and here we go, pit stops, and it looks like the entire field is coming.
Oh boy, this is going to get real antsy. Your drivers looking 3 wide, almost 4 entering the pits. There's still 3 abreast down for the pit lane. Like you said, this is everybody coming down right now for pit stops. This is I've never seen this before in a Super Speedway race where everybody's coming down in the entire field. So, well, now we're going to have to wait and see who the heck is going to be able to lead this race off of pit road. It almost looks like we're under caution right now because of how many trucks came down to the lane there. Oh, hold on. Justin Dietrich overshot his pit stops in the 21 truck. Disastrous pit stop for him. It's going to be Tommy Gossett to lead them off. Bronson Stafford and Steve Durham racing on the exit, but it looks like Bronson has locked out second place. Justin Dietrich, though, he's going to have to get a serious move on, though, in the back of that number 21 machine if he's going to have a chance of catching up to the field, but he's stepping that back end out. It's not going the way he needs it right now if he wants to catch that field. I think he's lost the draft as a result of overshooting his pit stall.
So that's going to be a tough break for him because he had such a hard time getting back up to the field after getting shuffled. He's trying to get up, and he was up in the top 5 once again, and now he has to do all that work again after just one little slip up on pit road. That's so costly at such a big track like this.
Massive, certainly one of the most, it's probably one of the biggest jumps to pit road and the most sudden jumps to pit road I've ever seen. You know, one truck came down and pretty much everybody followed suit, and I can see there's a good 7 drivers at least that are talking to each other elsewhere, and well, I think they were probably communicating this is what they were going to do anyway. This might be good to the end of the race now if they can keep things together. Might have one more stop waiting for us. Not quite sure on that yet. We'll have to see if our math is going to be correct. So we'll have to see. I'm hoping they can make it through to the end of the race now as the entire field starting to get themselves lined up. The 4 drivers at the back, Trenton Jump, Dylan Browning, Justin Teal, and Matthew Rodriguez. They're going to be running line astern, a 4-car train, and they're going to have to be hoping that they've got a number. They're going to be having to be hoping. And what we actually just heard from Steve Durham, they can't make it on fuel. Drivers are not safe on fuel here, Greg, so we're going to be seeing one more stop for the end of today's race. So, well, that is going to throw a wrench in the works here as we've got less than 30 laps to go, and they can't make it on fuel.
They can't make it on fuel. We're inside the final stages of this race. That means the final fuel stop is going to come very, very close to the end of the race. So we will see how this all unfolds.
And then you got to wonder if there's going to be that one driver that might try to make things look. Hold on, Steve Durham tried to hook up with the outside line, and well, Drew Ashley, well, not wanting to work with them because he ended up going to the outside and putting them 3 wide for the spot. So Ashley making a good move around the outside. That forces Durham back down low, but oh boy. I see Trenton Jump, it was getting real close to the 76, and my goodness, I think there was a little bit of contact there between Jump and Tyler Tomasi. The current running side by side, 3 wide in the back, but my goodness, that was scarily close in between Jump and Tomasi. I think at this point, now that this is all settled out again, this is going to create a very, very interesting fuel strategy. You got to wonder here, Greg, is there anybody that might try to conserve as much as they can, maybe back off a bit to try to not make that last stop? Because if you do, you got to wonder what they're going to be able to do, considering you run flat out around this track.
Yeah, the problem with backing off and trying to conserve here is if you do that, you risk losing the draft and losing so much track position that it could fall into a position that it might not benefit you anyway because you've lost so much ground to those guys. So that is the risk you have to take here at this track. And I honestly think we're going to see everyone just go all out as long as they possibly can. I don't foresee anyone really trying to play the conservation game as much as we would see any other weekend.
we got to remember is those trucks running out front is at the time now where I don't think people are going to be wanting to try to run up front because, well, if you're running up front, you're burning a lot more fuel than you are if you're running in the back of one of these trains. So right now, Drew Ashley and Tommy Gossett, they're burning significantly more fuel than drivers like Stafford and Stamp or Durham and Matteo. So you got to keep that in mind as well. As the drivers up in front that are breaking the air, they're having to push a lot harder if they want to keep that lead. So they're only hurting themselves by staying out in front there right now.
We'll see how it unfolds, and you know these drivers are thinking about when they are going to make that next pit stop. And if this thing does stay green until about the final 5 laps or so, it's going to be very interesting to see how it all unfolds right now, as we got a good battle up here at the front between Tommy Gossett, who's made his way up to the lead finally for the first time today after pushing several guys up into position to take the lead. He finally got the lead for himself. Now he's under pressure once again from Drew Ashley on the outside. Eric Stamp up there behind Ashley, and Bronson Stafford behind Gossett, and Ashley with a good run on the outside down the back stretch. Lap traffic beginning to peak ahead there as the field cycles its way through. Oh, Stamp with a move to the outside, and Ashley recognized it and jumped down to the bottom as quick as he could to keep a draft. Good move there by Ashley on defense. As Stamp made a move to the outside, Ashley recognized it and very quickly jumped down to not lose any draft.
Shane Therian, the truck they're going to put down a lap down next, running 170 miles an hour, going to have to go to the outside to let the field through. It's going to be right next to the wall and 3 wide as they get around him, but that's going to be done nice and clean. So the 38 truck going to have to filter back in line here. Looking 3 wide though. Durham getting the bandit on the outside. Trenton Jump, he's looking to make moves now. He's trying to go up the middle. He's currently running 3rd on the outside, but he doesn't have any help out there either.
Could you imagine what it would do for Trenton Jump, not only with what happened with Brian Hartz to end his day? Could you imagine what it would do to Trenton Jump's confidence if he could get the win here today? He has been waiting all day, just kind of hanging out. Now he's up there in the mix. If he can get a win here today, how many points would that move him up on Ryan Hartz? He would be able to gain almost maximum points on him today.
Oh, absolutely, and maximum points, that would definitely be huge in this championship fight. It would definitely kick the door wide open for at least Trenton Jump, and potentially, well, you got to keep in mind as well for the other car that's currently on the track, and that is Shane Therian, who is a significant way down, but at the moment, he is a good 6 spots up on where Ryan Hartz is on the track, despite being 4 laps down. So he's another driver that's going to benefit a lot for Ryan Hartz's retirement in this race as a result of that big one to end off stage number 1.
So we'll see how these drivers play and plan these next few laps. We're inside 20 to go as Stamp continues to lead. Stamp got the lead right around the midway point of the first stage and has been a solid fixture up front since then. But here comes Jump on the outside. He's got help from Dylan Browning, who has had a great recovery after being the first car around, or truck around. Oh! He has to back up out of it so as he avoids running over the 46 of Jump. That allows Ashley to get back up to the bumper of Stamp and get them back in front. But what a recovery by Browning in the Pepsi truck.
That number 12 machine is looking antsy. He's trying to push Trenton Jump to the front. Jump going to be going right through to the point now. You can see there was Browning looking a bit to the outside, gives him a big shot and a turn number 3, but so that nearly turned around Trenton Jump. Jump is still secure though in that position. This well, again, this is getting antsy. It's getting all sorts of tight here up on the front. We're under 20 laps to go now. It's going to be 18 at the line. This is getting really, really tight now here at the front of this field. And remember, still potentially 1 more pit stop left. Just 0.003 of a second separating Stamp and Jump at the line.
Jump able to get out to the lead. He's got Browning and Teal behind him, whereas Stamp has Ashley, and then it's a little bit further back to Gossett. Gossett kind of lost touch, and Teal recognizes it and gets down in front of him in the 32 truck. So good job there by Teal to recognize, hey, there's enough room. I can get my truck in there and get a run on the inside and try to settle things down there. He's now got the torque to the outside. Gossett peaks high to try to get in behind Gretoric, backs out of it as they had to get around the lap truck up there, and the battle continues up front. Browning with a good push on Jump. Jump is going to clear the 53 and get down in front of him, so Jump finally able to clear Stamp. He leads the way right now. Here comes Browning. He's going to have some help from Gretoric here before too long.
Rounding lap number 78 of 94. Not a lot of time to go at all. 3 wide in the back. Heads up, everybody. Dylan Browning on the top side. He was looking to make the move, but he's going to be instead fading all the way to the back of this field. That is going to make the way now for Drew Ashley, who got a little bit unsettled earlier, and now he's up in the front. A little bit of front end damage I'm noticing on that number 4 truck, like for some of the hard hits that he's been delivering to a few drivers in that number 4 Toyota. So he's not getting a lot of help right now on the outside line. Oscar Torres is the first truck behind him. And right now the top 5 have cleared the rest of the field. They're still running single file up in front with Trent and Jump leading the way.
Little 5 truck breakaway now as the rest of the field catches up. Stafford and Gossett able to get back up on the tail end there of the 38 of Therian. Remember, Therian is several laps down in that 38, so he's not up there in position. The 5th place truck will be the 61 of Stafford, as he is the 6th truck in line right now as they make their way around Robert Kenny, who was another one of the early leaders who got caught up in that accident right at the halfway point. And now Gossett taking a peek outside of Stafford. He's going to try to lead the outside lane up once again as they make their way into turn number 3. Jump continues to lead. Stamp getting right up on the back bumper. Teal 3rd. Gossett trying to lead the outside lane up right now. He's got help from Drew Ashley.
I'll tell you what, this has been an absolutely thrilling race. This whole thing has just been, you know, an absolute non-stop. It's been a non-stop heart stopper. I'll try saying that 5 times fast. From start to finish, flag to flag right now. And it's not over yet. We're just now on the lap number 80. So right now, 15 laps to go in the race. The time is beginning to run on now. The time for conservation is just about over. Remember, Steve Durham said that they are not safe on fuel. So you gotta wonder if that was maybe a strategy on Durham, because right now they're all pushing flat out. Now they're about to catch 2 different lap trucks. Tanner Johnson and Justin Dietrich running 14th and 22nd in the field. Johnson's gonna go up high to let the field through. Justin Dietrich, he's gonna do the same over in turn number 4.
What a tough break for Dietrich. He had fought so hard to get himself back into position, just to have it happen to him all over again. Nolan, Tommy Gossett is making the outside lane work. He's up to the 3rd spot now with help from Drew Ashley, trying to go after Stamp and Jump right now. So Gossett has really been the one all day long who's been trying to make that outside lane work. He's got Ashley and now Steve Durham tucking in there as well. We know Durham wasn't thrilled with Gossett about 10-15 laps ago, and now he's kind of following that suit. That's a product of plate racing. Even if you might not be happy with the guy that's in front of you, if he has the run, you're almost inclined to go work with him anyway.
You're going to have to do. You need to really put transgressions aside if you want to try to get your way up to the front of that. I think Steve Durham's realizing this and is having to work his way back up to the front there now. As well, to add to the tough race on Justin Dietrich, he would actually be racing with this guys, because he was actually in contention for the win prior to the pit cycle. The reason why he's a lap down, he overshot his pit stall, had to back up, backed up too far, had to pull forward, lost about 4 seconds through that pit stop cycle as a result of that, and as such had lost the draft when he exited the pit stops, when he exited the pit road. So that is why he is so far back, and why it's a lap down. It just shows why you need to be crucial with your pit stops and why you just can't afford any mistakes. And unfortunately, one mistake definitely cost him the race here today. He's hoping for a caution as we get back on the lead lap, go to fight for the win right now.
He's hoping for another caution, but drivers up front are settling down because they realize, yes, it's lap 82 of 94. That is still a long, long way to go here at Talladega. 12 laps is about a 2.5 hour movie.
Oh, here we go.
Feel like it. Here we go. Final pit stops.
This will be the final pit stop, so this is crunch time. You need to get the stops right. This is the money stop right here, as we like to call it. This is what's going to make or break races tonight. All drivers onto the lane. Trenton Jump leads them down. Sorry, check me on that. He actually did lead it down because he made the pass with the lead on the engine of the pits. Will he lead them off though? That's going to be the question. Now it's going to be the question of, it's really just a mind game at this. We got to try to get it right. Actually, hold on. Steve Durham, did he only take 2 tires for the number 10 truck? I think he did, Steve Durham. Actually, no, Durham didn't take tires, period. Fuel only for the number 10 truck. He's off and away. He's in the lead as a result of this now, with Bronson Stafford right behind him in second.
So Durham, fuel only, taking the gamble. And how do you like the call there, Nolan?
Well, I actually say go ahead, make it work. You know, you use up the tires so little on a track like this because you're running just that fast around this place. If you haven't been doing a lot of weaving, don't take tires, take fuel only. Steve Durham realized this, and now he's going to get a bump behind from Bronson Stafford. Trying to work his way to the front. You can see Tommy Gossett trying to pull around the outside, but he's not going to be able to make anything work. And a lot of drivers behind him, they did take tires on their stops, and unfortunately, well, Shane Theriot and Eric Stamp were among those drivers, so behind them, from really about 5th on back, they just shot themselves in the foot by taking tires on their stops, it looks like, even if it was only 2.
So here we go, final stages of this race. Final pit stops are down, and Nolan, is shootout time.
Certainly is, and I got to wonder if these trucks in the back will be able to make anything work on the trucks up front. You got Alex Walter in the 15, or sorry, in the 63, who's still running in the middle of this entire group as, Steve Durham now running out in front, still being able to hold this lead. Trenton Jump, that's who I want to mention right now. Trenton Jump is up in 3rd place. This is key for the number 46. He needs to be running out in front. He's currently in the top 3. Even that would advance him massively in the championship points and closing that gap. So that's what he's hoping for right now. These 4 trucks, they're looking to break away right now on this group behind them. But Eric Stamp, I don't know. He might be trying to close in the gap. Let's see what the lap times are. That's going to be crucial here. It was a 51.807 last time for Tommy Gossett. It was a 51.5 for Eric Stamp. That field in the back, they are closing for sure. Well, it looks like Greg Rance has had a few more technical difficulties that he's going to try to work his way through, and hopefully quickly, because I would like to see him back present here for these final laps. 10 to go this time, so... Well, it's all in the hands now of Steven Durham running out in front. It was a 51.8 for that lead field, 51.5s for that second field. They are beginning to close on in. That battle is far from over. And, well, it certainly has been a unique one, to say the least. You know, we haven't seen something like this for a while. The gap is still closing to the cars in front. It was a 51.3 this time for a lot of the cars in the line. Oh, but it was 52 flats for some of the other drivers. So they're closing by over half a second a lap. So this is crucial for these cars in behind. They're about 2 seconds up. Do they have enough time, though, to reel the way back to the front? That's going to be the key here. Steve Durham still running out in front, still trying to make something work for himself. He's been doing a good job running out in front. Right now, you can see the top 3 behind, the second, third, and fourth, and behind, not wanting to make anything look on him yet. Justin Zeal dropping back behind this field. Right now, the top 10, the top 4 in this train is looking like this. Looking Steve Durham in front, Stafford second, Jump third, with Tommy Gossett in fourth. Looking back then, Eric Stamp rounds out the top 5 with Dylan Brown in 6th, Evan Coleman in 7th place, Tyler Tomasi 8th, Drew Astley and Justin Dietrich running on their lonesome in 9th and 10th, with Austin Gretorix, Jeremy Metho, and Tanner Johnson behind. This has been such a crucial race so far. It's been an intense one for sure. Now, at this point, a caution, that would certainly change everything. My goodness, this has been all sorts of crazy here in this one. Now, though, Well, here we go. Thanks to Justin Teal, Eric Stam. They've caught the back of this field, and now the battle is going to be back on in full swing with less than 10 to go. Eric Stam looks to the outside. Browning looking to follow. Caution is out. This is it. This is going to be the crucial one for this one. Drew Asson, the number 9 truck, getting spun around. That's contact from Justin Dietrich. That'll put the caution out with less than 10 to go. And, well, if Greg is back in here, potential green-white checker territory now. Well, still, apparently, unfortunately, Greg's still looking to be sorting some things out, but my goodness. Absolute game changer here just after the final pit stop cycle. Everybody's going to be closed on in. This is the last thing that Steve Durham wanted today, so, oh my goodness. This is about to get all sorts of crazy. Well, Steve Durham still running out in front, and well, right now it's looking like this could be shaping up for a very, very intense finish today. And well, what we're hoping will be the final caution of the night, but evidently might not be, as that is how Talladega often goes. We are going to be taking a quick break here, and we'll be back right after this.
We're based out of West Monroe, Louisiana. We do custom T-shirts, racing. We'll do any shirt. We'll do schools, churches, fundraisers. We do a ton of event shirts, as you can see on our board here, all around our banner. Personalized. I mean, we do anything. It doesn't matter to us. We got the custom rugs. We use all the, top quality shirts, inks and everything. Hoodies, hats. We do embroidered hats, embroidered shirts. Just you can call us for anything. We do offer the bag and fold, to where we, you can receive them and they're already labeled and tagged and bagged, ready to give out to your customer and stuff. So you can just call us and just tell us, hey, this is what we're looking at doing, and if we're going to put the car on there, it is 125 quantity minimum. If it's without the car, it's 60 quantity minimum. That's strictly on the racing stuff. If it's a business or something, if you race on Texas shirts, it's a little bit differently. You can call us. It just depends on your quantity and ink colors. Everything is hand drawn. I mean, everything. We don't Photoshop anything onto a shirt or anything like that. Everything that we go through, everything is drawn, and which is the reason for the art fees. We do have several graphic artists that draw for us, and they're really good. So what we do is on any package that you do, we can mix and match. We can do any colors. You can do purple, red, blue, green, and do the rest black. It doesn't matter to us. With your design on there, we can do hoodies. We can do hoodies, long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, tank tops. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's almost limitless what you can do, and you can put all that together in that package to make that minimum requirements. They can call us 318-278-7191, or they can email us at bulletprooftees@yahoo.com, or they can go to the website bulletprooftees.com.
Well, 1 lap to go before we go back green flag racing, and well, let me tell you what, this is about to get very interesting. Greg, you managed to get your system back at just in time. 2-lap shootout. This is going to get very, very messy. We can feel it coming because this is when the tensions really start to ramp up with 2 to go, and that is when we go back green. There's going to be 1 lap when they get to speed, and then on the final lap, I think that's when we can expect all heck to break loose.
Green-white checkered on deck here at Talladega. Steve Durham faked the field out on pit road right before this caution came out, and it might have worked out for him. Remember, so many times he has been struggling to hang on to the draft. He has tried the outside numerous times, didn't work. And finally made it to where he got up front, and now it is his chance to try to make it work.
His chance, and well, he doesn't have a lot of time left, that's for sure. Just 2 laps left to go of racing into this one. That is assuming they can make it around to the white flag, which we're not 100% sure if that's going to be done, because like we said, this is stacked the entire field up. Steve Durham is taking the inside line, Eric Stamp is in 2nd, Tyler Tomasi 3rd, Austin Greder is 4th, Jerry Matteo down in 5th place, trying to jump, he's in 7th. He's going to be very aggressive off the line. I can tell you right now, that 46 truck going to be trying to working his way up through the field and try to pick up as many points as he can to reel in that gap to Ryan Hartz. We're set to go racing for just 2 more laps.
Here we go. Pace truck off. Field in the hands of Steve Durham. Eric Stamp to his outside. Stamp has been up front for virtually the entire second half of the race. And now he has to make his way around. 1 truck pulling in on pit road. It was one of the Gretorics as Durham leads them through 3 and 4. We are getting set. We're going to go green here, Nolan.
Buckle up, get set, get ready to rumble. Steve Durham hits the loud pedal. We're off and away. 2 laps to go at Talladega.
Tomasi gets up on the back bumper of Durham, who kind of bobbled a little bit. Great save there by Durham. Remember, it takes about a lap to get up to speed. Stamp settles in 3rd behind Tomasi and Durham. Durham leading the way. Gossett trying to lead the outside lane with help from Brown, and they come off turn number 2. Coming towards the white flag. Durham leading the way. Tomasi in 2nd. Stamp 3rd. Here comes Gossett with a run. It's just 2 trucks up on the outside. Gossett and Browning. More trucks trying to make their way up in the back. Here comes Jump trying to peak high. He leaves Matteo to try to get up there. And now it's a 3 truck line on the outside as Durham continues to lead the way.
They just need to make it through the tribal one more time, and then this race will be official. Here we go. Entering the tribal, looking 3 wide up top. The number 80 up the top side. Gossett getting dished. This is it. White flag. This race is official. The race will be over no matter what happens. Tyler Tomasi up the middle though with Eric Stamp. He's to the lead.
Tomasi gets the lead. Shuts the door on Durham. Wreck behind him.
1 truck into the infield. Matthew Rodriguez taking a big slide in turn number 2, and he is smoking an inside wall. The 56 truck up in smoke. Keeping eyes up on front though. Looking 3 wide potentially for the lead. Here you got the 46 trying to jump on the top side. Dylan Brown pulling in the middle with Eric Stamp with the lead. Looking 3 wide. So many rows deep in the background, and so far we're looking clean and green. Here comes Browning looking to the outside. He's trying to go for the pass. He gets stopped. Huge crash over there. Eric Stamp taken out right as they come to the line. Tyler Tomasi comes it down. The race isn't over yet. Here comes Gossett. Can he get him? He tries to turn him as they cross the line, but it's going to go to Tyler Tomasi, who crashes after the checker flag.
Crossing the strike sideways. Tyler Tomasi, your race winner at Talladega, as the field crashes behind him. Unbelievable finish.
Huge mess there as they crossed as they went through the tribal the final time today. And well, I said this last time, but the officials might want to review that finish. Tyler Tomasi also went aggressive, ended up punting Eric Stamp up and flipping over against the outside wall in the 53 truck, and it was a big mess. I saw there were so many trucks that were caught up in that you and I both saw it. Gossett turned his truck dead left, trying to right rear Tyler Tomasi. Didn't manage to get there, but my goodness, what a way to finish the race. As well, Tomasi, he'll be able to come away with a secure win today. Oh my Lord.
Here we take another look at the finish, Nolan.
Yes, indeed. Taking one more look at this one, they were 3 wide, looking for, as they went through turns 3 and 4, all the lines just squiggling about like little snakes. As I believe this is going to show us the initial incident here, and there you can see their stamp gets bumped, sent hard to the outside wall and flipping, and here comes the 80 truck. This was big. He punted in second place up, and watch this, comes to the checkered flag, and right there, the wheel turned to the left. He tried to dump him there. I think there is absolutely no excuse for that one. Your leader tried to get dumped as they crossed the line. That was, by all intents and purposes, by the definition of the word, intentional.
It just did not work out. Tomasi was just too far ahead. Wow. Nolan, that's the end of a wild race here at Talladega.
Oh, it certainly is. What an intense race, to say the least, as well, looks like, well, that's going to be it for this race here in Talladega. Well, let's take a quick break while we wait for the drivers to pop on over here. So, well, we're going to be looking at Tyler Tomasi to win off the race. Tommy Gossett down in second, Steve Durham third, Jared Matteo in fourth, Justin Teal fifth, Trenton Jump sixth, Evan Coleman seventh, Oscar Gretorix eighth, Ron Stafford ninth, Drew Ash, the final driver on the lead lap, down in 10th place, Eric Stamp 11th, Dylan Browning in 12th, Justin Dietrich 13th, Matthew Rodriguez 14th, Shane Therian 15th, Alex Walter 16th, Robert Kenny 17th, Tanner Johnson 18th, Christian Gomez 19th, Calvin Gretorix in 20th place, with Logan Brakey 21st, Cody Schlotdecker in 22nd, Matt Dyer 23rd, Ryan Hartz 24th, with Stefan Hamill rounding out the 25 car field for the day. And well, after well, what can be classified as a controversial finish here at Talladega, let's take another quick little break here while we wait for some of the drivers to pop on in, and we'll give them a quick chat after this. We are back here at Talladega Superspeedway after a very, very indeed to close off a 94-lap race that somehow did not go into overtime status. We've got the top three standing by and ready to talk to us right now. And we'll kick things off with our third place finisher, Steve Durham. Well, Steve, well, I think we could definitely say it was a good race for you. You went from 11th up to third. Not the hard charge of the day, but certainly a lot better than where you ended up starting things off.
Yeah, it was definitely a good race. Played a little bit of strategy, especially the last 50 laps. Definitely a lot of fun. I love coming to restrict.
Well, I think one thing that we should mention is, of course, the pit strategy, especially in the final. Thinking at first you might be able to run it out to the end, but then we heard Steve Durham come over the radio and say that you guys aren't safe, and that kind of threw everything up into the air, especially with the final caution, not to mention, that came out with less than 10 laps to go. So when it comes to those interesting calls like that, and then a wrench just gets thrown into the works, you know, what as a driver do you have to try to do to make sure that you could try to come out on top when, you know, when things don't seem to quite go as to plan?
Well, me not having any team members, the one thing I started doing since the stage break, I didn't take tires since stage break. I was just doing fuel only, and that last pit stop right before lap 70 was, I just took 5 gallons of fuel and just went.
Well, the fuel-only strategy is a popular one at the super speedways, and it seemed to definitely pay off for you. Came through on the final spot of the podium position. Well, before we let you go, then, any sponsor, anybody you'd like to shout out today for the number 10 truck?
Just a bunch of good guys over at Aegis Racing. David Washington, good guys, been teaching me a lot about racing. Been a lot of fun with those guys, and just shout out to the fans and thank you guys for putting on a great league. It's been fun joining.
Well, I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed yourself today, Steve, and thank you for joining us today. That was your 3rd place finisher, and well, now we'll carry things over to Greg Rentz, who is caught up with your 2nd place finisher, Tommy Gossett.
And Tommy, what a run to the finish, trying to make the outside lane work and split through the middle, and man, you gave it everything you had there at the very end.
Yeah, I was trying my best. I was trying to stay high, but stay as close down there on Tyler as I could. And it would have been closer, but I guess some net code happened. It looked like on my end, and it kind of lifted my front end up off the track, so it made me fall a little bit further behind. But it was a hell of a run.
Well, Tommy, it was one heck of a run for you all the way. And talk to us a little bit about the course of the race, because we noticed early on that you were really liking being the pusher on the outside there. You pushed about 4 or 5 different guys up to the front throughout course of the race before getting yourself in the position there. So what was it like being the pusher?
It was fun. I enjoy pushing people to the lead here at Talladega and Daytona. It's something that I actually practice, because my thing in my mind is if I make friends earlier on in the race, there'll be people willing to help me later on. I did it pretty good all race. There was that one mistake I made coming out of 4 where I hooked the 7, I believe it was. That was a total mistake. I just misjudged. I thought he was going to be higher, and I got him in the right rear and turned him, and I feel so bad for him. But yeah, I enjoy being the pusher here. Something I really do like.
Well, Tommy, you had a great run all throughout the course of the day. It rewards you with a 2nd place finish, and that's got to feel good after the up and down day. To be able to finish 2nd after such a wild race here at Talladega, that's got to feel good.
It does. I'm glad to finish perfect on the day, dead across. Started 2nd, finished 2nd, so I'll take it, especially for my first race here.
All right, well, it's a 2nd place for you here. We know you got some guys you want to.
Yep. First off, thank y'all for putting on a wonderful broadcast. Glad to be called on such a wonderful broadcasting company. Gotta thank God for being able to put me in this position in my life to do what I love to do. And I gotta thank my wonderful sponsors of Splash and Go Graphics, Butt Kicker, and my team Lowline Racing, and all our accompanying sponsors.
That's your 2nd place finisher, Tommy Gossett. Congratulations on the 2nd.
Thank you.
And now we're going to catch up with Nolan Rempel, who has caught up with Tyler Tomasi in victory.
Absolutely, I have. And well, we've talked about this, Tyler, so many times on our broadcast, how this is a track where Lady Luck makes her home. And it certainly seems like Lady Luck ended up coming home on your side today, especially in the midst of what was some very sketchy situations on that final lap.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I have honestly, any league I've ran or any time I've ever ran at any of those plate tracks, I've never had any luck, and I don't even know what to say. I can't believe that for once it actually went on my side.
Well, I'll tell you what, the luck almost wasn't on your side for qualifying. You ended up starting in 7th place, and I think that it goes to show, just how final line you need to run here to be able to qualify up on pole position. But regardless, you managed to come home down there over in 1st place. Just walk us through the whole race from start to finish. How did you kind of manage to work your way back up through the field and manage to hold on to that lead, especially in that final restart?
Well, pretty much the whole race, I think it goes for everybody. We're all just trying to stay out of trouble. I wanted to try a bunch of things like jump up on the outside and then try to lead a little bit, probably saw in the beginning of the race. Then I would fall back on purpose. All right, that's how it feels up there. Yeah, just try to be patient. And then near the end on that restart, I just was pushing. And then luckily somehow I got around that guy, and then I lost the lead again. And then on the final lap, I bumped the guy in front of me. He got a little loose, and then it was a drag race to the finish, and somehow we came home with the win.
Well, there you go. Lady Luck on your side in that drag race for sure. And well, before we let you go then to go and celebrate your win, anybody to and that number 76 truck, who else get it done for you?
Yeah, I gotta thank all my real life sponsors. I race late models in real life. RLS Performance, Tomasi Laura Associates, Caddick Real Estate, all my friends and family who are watching and support me no matter what.
And there you have it, your race winner today, Tyler Tomasi. Thanks for taking the time to join us today, sir.
No problem.
And well, that is about that then. No other drivers. Looks like nobody else gonna be coming on in to give us a little bit of a chit chat here, Greg. So before we start to sign things off for today, your closing thoughts on what was definitely a thriller of a third race in the chase here.
This was my first trip to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway, and I was not let down. I enjoyed every second, despite the technical difficulties on my end. It was so much fun to be able to call this race and be here for this incredible race. And this is my first time with the Adrenaline Racing League, and I think I better be tuning in for the rest of the race, or rest of the way, to see how this point series unfolds, because I'm very, very intrigued now how this is all going to unwind.
Well, I'll tell you one. There is still one more very exciting tonight, and that is the United States Touring Series at the at the Charlotte Dirt Track. That is coming up at 8:50 p.m. Central Time. So, well, really, actually, just an hour away here. So, well, if you want series that's got a lot of action, a lot of drama, well, there you go. That is going to be the series for you coming up in just 1 hour here on LSR TV. And well, with that, it is going to be time to sign off for today and close another presentation of the Adrenaline iRacing League round at number 23, third in the playoffs here. And my goodness, it's definitely been a race that has blown that championship wide open. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on those point standings to see just what will be made of Trenton Jump, as he'll be able to close on in to the lead of Ryan Hartz. I've been Older Rampo bringing you today's presentation with Greg Rentz beside me and Charles Wooten behind the cameras for today. Thank you for joining us here on LSR TV. We'll talk to all of you guys in, well, about an hour.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.